All right, so here's a look at this 5.5 liter food composter. Now this is gonna be a great food composter if you want something that's gonna go up on a countertop. We didn't wanna have it down on the ground over here, so we got this countertop size, and you can see the bucket right here. Again, this is 5.5 liters, so this is the size that you're gonna get. This is gonna be perfect for a family of like 1 to 4 people. You can see the blades there on the inside, and this is how it's obviously going to compost. So just wanted to give you a size reference, and it's pretty easy to take this out and clean as well. It does have a cleaning function on here, which I'll get to in a bit, but this is kind of just a look at the size reference and how it looks up here on the countertop. So let's take a look at the menu first. So you can see here up at the top, it's going to have your standard start and stop. So this is going to give you your standard mode. You also have a couple other modes like quick, crush, clean, and store. Quick is going to reduce the amount of time that it takes to complete a cycle, and it's only going to reduce it about 30 minutes to about an hour. And then we've got the crush mode. We've got the clean mode, which is going to help to actually clean it. You're going to put water in here and it's going to clean between the blades. Then it also has a store mode for a short temporary time if you want to store the compost. Then up here at the top, again, we got our bucket right there in the middle. We've got our lid right here. Now, if we wanted to pop this lid off because we're going to be cleaning everything, we easily could just press these release buttons over there on the side. That's going to pop off our main lid. Then we have another lid over here on the back that's also going to come off. And this is where we access our filter. So this is going to be our carbon filter. You'll see that it is pretty hefty and large. And the way that you're going to realize that this is going to need to be changed out is up here on the front. You'll see that there's this store button down at the bottom, and if this beeps for 10 minutes consecutively, that's going to tell you that it's time to change out that filter. So you can go ahead and get replacement filters from the brand for this, and yeah, this is what it looks like. Pretty easy to pull out and clean. So we also have our water container here as well. This is going to pop out too, so you can see this is where we're going to empty everything out, and then we can go ahead and just clean that up in the sink nice and easily. Then everything just slides right back into place. One of the things I really liked about this brand is the fact that everything seems very, very high quality. We've been using it for about a month now, and yeah, it just feels like a very high quality premium food composter. You can just feel it in the materials, and it obviously looks great as well, so it's definitely not an eyesore up here on the countertop. It's also going to have this guidebook here, which I like the fact that they provided this because it also is going to show you the types of foods and the types of materials that can and cannot go in here. So you can see things like vegetables, scraps, fruits, basic leftover foods, dairy products, biodegradable materials, paper products, all that stuff can easily be composted in here. But other things like greasy foods, meats, anything that's like bones, let's see, there's a couple other ones on here, like liquids and oils, you do not want to process those in there. So you want to be very careful with what you utilize in here, and just make sure that you go based off of what the manufacturer says inside of the manual. Now, another part of the manual here that you're really going to want to focus on is all the different modes. So you can see here that we've got the standard auto mode, which is basically going to be your stop and start button from turning it on. And that's going to last for 3 to 10 hours. And again, this is really going to depend on how much food, how much humidity, and how much is actually put in there to be composted. So if you just got a small amount and low humidity, it's probably only going to take 3 hours. But if you fill it all the way to the top, it could be up to 10 hours. Again, it's also going to have this quick mode. So if you needed to do it quickly, then you could go ahead and use that. But again, it's really only reducing it about 30 minutes to an hour. Then you've got your crush mode, which is not going to be like your auto standard. This is going to be more of it grinding it into smaller pieces just to reduce the actual volume. And then it's going to switch over to the store mode after that. Like I said earlier, the clean mode is going to clean up all the blades that are on the inside, so you don't really have to clean it as much by pulling it out. And then that only is going to take 30 minutes. And then you've got your store mode, like I said, which will temporarily store small amounts for 12 hours. Now, another thing to be cautious of here is this is obviously going to use heat to compost the food. So you got to be careful that this part up here can get hot. And you want to be careful not to like put your hand on the glass up here at the top. If you look down in here, let me tilt it over for you. You can see the blade is starting to spin, and this is the beginning of the process. So that's kind of what it looks like on the inside. And we just got done cleaning this, so I figured this would be a good time to kind of show you to see how the actual blade works on the inside. Now it is going to have a slight hum to it, so if you don't want any noise, make sure that you kind of put this on maybe at night or something like that. It's not too loud. It's really just a real tiny little hum that's going to be coming out of the filter over here, and it's also going to exhaust a little bit of heat as well. So kind of just plan for that on where you're actually going to place this at in your kitchen. Although this is probably going to be stationary, you could move it around relatively easy. I would guess that it weighs around maybe like 20 pounds or so. So if you need to move it from one countertop to another, or if you're going to have this out maybe in a different room, then it should be pretty mobile and easy to move around. The only thing here is you want to make sure that you've got a 3-prong plug nearby, because this is going to be 3-prong. It's a bit more of a heavy duty countertop appliance, so yeah, it will need that 3-prong. Now this is our first food composter, so I don't really have too much reference to compare it to, but I think it does an amazing job, especially being so compact. And this is going to be perfect for anyone that's looking to compost their food and either use it for their garden or just to make it easier to compost food down and throw it away. So if you're looking for a really good food composter, something that can work up on the countertop, something that's around 5.5 liters and just has a lot of optionability, then I would definitely recommend picking this one up.